So very good. And just a little bit of history on me. So I'm Scotty O'Brien. I hail from St. Louis, 52 years old, which means I'm old. Not bad looking for an old guy, right? Moved to Colorado about 5 years ago. And I'm going to say some stuff. You're like, well, how do you know the area so well? Because I've been coming here since I was a little baby. If you guys know Pikes Peak, I went up the Cog Railway when I was 3 months old, cried all the way up, slept all the way down, and I'm still just as loud. So, yep. I know this area like the back of my hand. I immerse not only Colorado, but our DMC covers the whole Rocky Mountain region, which is very unique because most DMCs cover the major cities, right? There's 10 of them in Denver, Colorado. And, they're going to be like, oh, I do this. I'll do Seattle. I'll do Las Vegas, Los Angeles, New York, and Miami, couple in between. We hyper focus because we're called Partner DMC Rocky Mountain on the Rocky Mountain region. Pardon me. And may I recommend Skira? Yeah, they're not sponsoring me, but if you haven't been to Iceland, yeah, this stuff's awesome. Wow, it's see through too. I just realized. Anyway, my career started as a cruise director 35 years ago. So, yep. I'm a specialist when it comes to logistics and moving audiences and keeping people immersed. So, I guess it makes me a little bit of an expert on this thing. So, in St. Louis before I moved here, and everybody always asks, why did you move from St. Louis? Well, first off, it's St. Louis. Uh, Secondly, I mean, we are number one crime. Number one, we win. Secondly, COVID and a divorce. Here I am. So owned a DMC in St. Louis for a short time and decided to come here and get all my stuff together. And yeah, we're rocking. We're super excited. So Denver has some amazing DMCs in a way that usually works in Colorado, especially, and then the rest of the region, like Jackson Hole. I'm excited and I love Jackson Hole. But Jackson Hole only has one DMC now too, because here I am. But they have to bring in stuff from Denver. What else is in Jackson Hole? If you haven't been, not a lot. Resources are limited. Big Sky, Montana, same thing. Resources are limited, and those are far drives from Denver. But our program, and I promise I'm not going to make this a sales pitch because that's not what it's about. But our programming focuses on one program at a time. We're super hyper focused on that. And we really are immersed with our clients, and we only, I guess we produce and curate one program at a time. So there's your sales pitch for the day. What is a DMC? And I'll spiel off and then take tons of Q&A. So super excited to do that. But a DMC is a destination management company. Okay, essentially I've always described it as a meeting planner for meeting planners. I'll give you a perfect example. Coors, Molson Coors here in Colorado. Their planning department may be 10, 15 different meeting planners. And him, her, or they can't plan detailed every single city at one time because that person, unless it's their big annual meeting, they're not going to just plan one meeting. That's not how it works. They're going to plan 20 different meetings, usually replicated for whatever destinations they're going to. So that brings a DMC into play because that planner doesn't know, we'll just go back to St. Louis, doesn't know who the greatest team building company is, DJ, decor, audiovisual service, right? They don't know who all these people are. So a DMC's job is to not only connect, but also to vet those organizations and really curate perfect experiences for that planner. So it's a great way to say a destination management company is truly a meeting planner for a meeting planner, also called a local expert, because it's my job, at least in this case, or DMC job, to understand the the localization and what hits home. And I'll talk more about the Rocky Mountain region because it's really unique, and what specializes this region compared to others. Another term that you may hear is called DMO, which is Destination Management Organization. I don't know if everybody's from Denver, but we have Visit Denver. Uh, Jackson Hole has Visit Jackson Hole. Boulder has Visit Boulder. These are DMOs, which are destination management organizations, and their job really is to sell that space and to highlight it and to bring people into Boulder, Jackson Hole, Denver, etc. Rocky Mountain Resorts, all that kind of stuff. You know, Aspen has one. So anyway, just throwing those out. So now there is a significant difference between a DMC and a DMO. One sells the location, one specializes really in planning on the location. That's what a DMC is, if you will. Yeah, and forgive me, got some notes over here, so you see me look to the side, and there you go. And by the way, this is being recorded, so I'll post this on YouTube, probably LinkedIn, so you'll be able, you know, if you don't want to type, whatever. Yeah, DMC is a local, on the ground company to a destination, boots on the ground, we call it, and we work alongside with planners, hoteliers, venues, and really also all of the other vendors or suppliers. Same thing. It seems as though on the social side of events, folks call their vendors. When you get into the corporate realm, more conference and larger events, people like to call them suppliers. It's the same thing. We're all the same people. And as a DMC, we provide turnkey services, so all in one. You know, and depending on the size of conference, I've seen planners hire 4 or 5 DMCs to do different things. You know, it depending on how big. If you do a citywide convention, that's a lot for one company to handle. I do know a couple organizations that do a very good job here in Denver for that. That's well beyond my size, but we can come in for part of it. Like they want to do their opening and closing reception. You know, it just depends. So hard to answer that one, but certainly a deal. Anyway, turnkey services for meetings and incentives. Everybody's heard of luxury incentives, I'm sure. Those are, how would I describe that? Corporate client wants to impress those people that have done very well within that company and reward them. So we're going to take them to somewhere luxurious, luxury incentive, and treat them like the rock stars they are. So we help produce those events and programs as well. Really kind of my favorite thing to do. That's just me. So if you will, I guess to wrap up that section, a meeting planner for meeting planners is how you describe a destination management company, a connector between all vendors, and then a relationship manager. Any questions on any of those, please? Perfect. My chance to take a drink of water. Yay. Um, DMCs typically, not always, get recommended by hoteliers. Right now, Connor, I don't know if you've seen the videos out, but he is our regional sales manager. He's out, and I'm old, so he's out courting, right, like an old dating thing, hotels right now. He's knocking on doors, smiling, taking prezzies, and getting to know the people. You know, just graduated college, his first job out of college, besides a catering company he worked with. So he's super excited and he's motivated, and you know, he's got the energy I don't have. Just good gosh. Anyway, but so a hotel is usually your go-to. Sometimes DMOs will recommend us. Visit Denver recommended us for a program here a couple weeks ago. So it just depends. So the hotels typically will handle sleeping rooms, meeting rooms within that hotel or venue. We'll call it what you want. I'm going to just sum it up to a hotel because um, a venue doesn't have sleeping space. And most of the time, people coming in from out of town, they need a place to stay. Catering, you know, they'll handle their internal food and beverage. And a DMC can work as with a planner, so the outside planner, if the hotel wants us to, as a buffer, an additional set of eyes, you know, because where we can do site contracts, negotiations, and arrangements, and work with that hotel. And it's really useful, especially at 2 places. If the planner is new and not used to, you know, not used to doing outside planning, especially outside of the location, or if they don't know the area very well. So, for example, they don't know Denver. Um, and they can, we'll just say Denver for argument's sake, being the expert on the ground, they know how that works. So, if that makes sense. So, um, another way to look at it, the DMC can handle everything outside of the hotel, off-site visits. I don't know if you guys have heard the term dine arounds, but that's a thing. Usually the executive, the C-suite level folks get together and they go have a nice dinner, fancy dinner, and enjoy themselves, tell each other how great they're doing, because that's a thing, right? Um, and share thoughts, ideas, and experiences. Transportation. They hire us to work with a supplier, vendor, that does transportation to and from the airport, to and from, let's just say the event is based in downtown Denver and they want to go do a day-long excursion, to bring you guys into play, to do some team building up in Estes Park, or maybe go out to Aspen for a night event. Transportation comes along that. So busing, limos, private jets, all the fancy stuff. So that's all there. Activities. A lot of DMCs, if you ask them, they will say they do team building. I firmly believe that that belongs to the team building masters, because a lot of them hire me anyway, probably hire you too, to do whatever works for them. But it is part of the turnkey experience, if you will. That is definitely a thing. Entertainment. Hey, we can bring in local entertainment, DJs, bands, all the way up to nationwide entertainment. I am not at all a Beatles fan. Hang on, I got to turn it that way. No, not at all. Yeah, I'm waiting for that client. Please come to bring me the $650,000 minimum budget. That's just for him to bring Paul McCartney in for an opening session. Yeah, that's it. I want that one. To handling decor, to production, lighting, branding, corporate branding, if you will. If you don't know the term branding, that means to make the room theirs, right? With video and tchotchkes and giveaways and lighting and all that kind of stuff. Decor, staffing, and then I think the most beautiful word to curate it all together is experiences. So our job as a DMC is to complement the hotel teams, not to replace them. So, any questions so far? Please ask away. Still another drink? Come on, Vivian, say something, because I had to take a drink. Anyway, am I going too fast? Is everything legit? Good. Okay, thank you. How do DMCs operate? So we source vendors. Our DMC is unique because we do entertainment, production, decor, team building, all internally. Remember, our formula is one program at a time. So we have the staff and the team and the planning and the resources to do all that at one time. And it's a plus for us because we can keep it under one roof. Some DMCs that are larger have 5, 6, 7 different departments to run all this, but they're running 20 programs at a time. We just hyper focus on one program at a time, and that allows us to use our internal resources as well. We manage relationships with those said vendors or suppliers. We coordinate all the logistics. That's the fun part. We create flow between events. I think one of the most important things, and I do tell my clients this all the time, to know is that our job is not to only plan and execute what's supposed to happen, but more importantly, is to know within that destination what could go wrong, because stuff's going to go wrong. It's going to happen. Vendor may show up a couple minutes late. Caterer may have dinner out 30 minutes late because the power went out and the sterno didn't work. Whatever. Fair enough. Stuff happens. It's the way that our industry is built. Not everybody thinks just like you guys. It's not the way it works. So we have to work and be a facilitator and a catalyst between all of the other vendors and suppliers involved and prepare for the unseen. Okay. And the best way to do it is to make it so that if something unforeseen does happen, be prepared for it, and then not let the client know about it. No, look, if you got to tell the client, hey, we're running a half an hour late on dinner, well, we should have something on backup to fill that void. So that's part of that preparation, if you will. We take, in part of doing all that, separately from all the internal stuff we do, but just as DMC, a management fee for doing all this. Okay. Some of the other fees involved are creative fees, depending on what involvement we do through the process, but there are different fees and different ways to get paid on that, so if you will. So there you go. Big framing, a DMC reduces risk for the planner and for the overall program, the special event, the meeting, the team building, the retreat, whatever, the luxury incentives. We do reduce that risk because our job is to know the stuff for that planner. We save time because, we don't have to recreate the wheel every single time. We add local knowledge, the local experts, and we create consistency, which means, and I hate cookie cutter. So not cookie cutter, just repetitive consistency. Anyway, so that kind of explains that. But it's also unique, especially in the mountain destinations. And in this whole area, except this year, because where's the snow? Seriously, but everything changes completely with weather, terrain, altitude, change in climate, the way things are happening. We have to be able to prepare and plan for that, And our company also focuses on international travel. I will stay away from politics. But that climate, that political climate, has changed things so much with our clientele because of the way things are going. So, any questions? Are you guys learning anything? Or I hope. Yes, Vivian, you gonna say something?
Yeah, I have a question. So when you talk about fees, I'm always curious, like, I guess I came into this call not understanding if you were profit or nonprofit, right?
I'm definitely
So
profit. Yeah.
but do you also get so the planner pays you, or the company the planner works for pays you,
Uh-huh.
but then do you also get commission from the vendors that you're working with?
That depends. Great question. That depends on the formula. That's a per client question. How's that sound? Some DMCs will take a commission off the hotels. That's kind of an instant agreement that usually happens. Some people mark up their vendors. I will say sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends. It depends on what kind of a budget we're trying to meet, etc. So great question. Hard to answer. It's a per client question now.
Okay, and then you also do contract negotiation for hotels.
Yep, that's also part of our job. Yes, we come in and we do site visits on behalf of the client. When I go, I'll do video. I love doing video stuff. Clearly, and I can give them that tour, and they're like, "Whoa, I'm here, but I'm not here." So yeah, that's also part of the process. Most definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, of course, of course. So I'm watching time. What does a DMC actually do? And it's kind of a hit list, if you will. We do local vendor sourcing, contract negotiation. There you go, Vivian. Transportation planning. We work with the client within their formula. Because here's the deal: a planner for whatever organization it is that hires us knows what they need to accomplish within their meeting. That's their job. The boss tells them, I need A, B, C, and D done. Make it happen. A lot of folks come in to bring us in to fill in the void for everything else that happens. Okay? Because really, and I'll speak to this in a little bit, you don't have to have a DMC. It sure makes things easier, but it's not a requirement. It just depends on how much time you have, how well you know the venue and the location you're going to walk into. So, I mean, those are important things. So, we also handle, of course, as I said earlier, offsite venue sourcing. Our job is to know, let's just pretend we're in Aspen, what restaurants are available in Aspen if they're closed on Monday, what kind of service they offer. Do they have a gluten-free menu? Yeah, they're going to, because your planner, depending on how detailed they are, going to ask every single one of these questions. And after we had that initial conversation and start building programs for them, they want to know the answers. So that's something we do. Timing, flow, and logistics. Hey, we're in the Rockies, guys. Stuff happens with weather, right? You enter into that tunnel on one side, it's beautiful sunny day. You get on the other side, you're like, that's a lot of snow. That's a whiteout. How did that happen? These folks don't know that unless they're from the area, so we had to be prepared for that. Permitting and access. Hey, if we're going to do team building in Breckenridge, Joshua, do we have to know that Breck requires a permit use, per the city? All this stuff. Okay. And then backup and contingency plans. Yeah, you got to be able to forecast what could possibly happen. The behind the scenes work. Hey, we call vendors. We stay in contact with them, usually the ones that we vet. I also make it a point, because I hate cookie cutter, to look into what else there is out there. What's creative? What have I seen that we can bring to the table that hopefully, right, my competition doesn't know about? We build the run of show, manage all the setup and strike, because there's more to it than just the party itself. How long does everything take? How do we make it all fit? How do we run all the moving pieces, if you will? Again, handling problems before planners see them and keep the program moving. A couple quick examples of DMC involvement: airport meets and greets. Yeah, we'll put boots on the ground at the airport to welcome people, and alongside the transportation company, because, hey, it's winter, kind of. What if that flight gets delayed 3 hours? Do we just let the CEO sleep in the airport? No. Our job is to figure this stuff out. So, group shuttles. Usually we're a typical 3-4 day meeting at a hotel includes, getting people to the hotel, some sort of welcome reception, couple days of meetings. Maybe the second night we do an offsite, some dine around, stuff like that. Maybe the third day we'll go do some team building up in the mountains or whatever. And then the fourth day we send them home. At the end of the third day, there's typically some sort of reward ceremony and awards celebration, depending. I'm talking typical meetings, conferences, not luxury incentive. That's a whole different ballgame. And then we send them home. So we got to get them back to the airport and get them home to their families, if you will, safely. So we essentially connect as a DMC, destination management company: hotels, transportation, activities, entertainers, team building, decor, audio visual, all the stuff together, and staffing into one seamless experience. So that's kind of that. When does a DMC add value? We're local based. We know our product. And in this case, the Rocky Mountains is my product. I'm supposed to know where these people are going. If I don't know a venue or a city they're wanting to go to, then I'll be going to explore it. And we know the destination very well. Please excuse me. You need a DMC when you've never planned before, or you're new at planning, or again, you're going to a venue that you're not familiar with, or the boss wants that extra sparkle. Remember, if that planner at Coors is planning 20 meetings, he or she or they does not have all day to call around and find out, man, who's the best sleight of hand magician in, Park City, Utah. That's where we come in. That's where we come in, and we do all the research if we don't already know them. Clearly, I'm a connector because I got a big mouth. But our job is to do that research and find the best of the best for them. Again, I'm in this over 35 years, so my job is to be able to know what we can do to produce these events to be over the top. Also, in addition, if you don't know the area, or you're a new planner, or you just need that assistance, multiple events at a time, you're doing a citywide, you got a lot of stuff going on. It's called citywide for a reason. There could be 10 different events at 10 different venues with 300 people at each place, maybe more. That Bluebird Ballroom on top of the Colorado Center, that's a big space. There's a lot of stuff we can do. Handling, of course, offsites, transportation needs, staffing, and guest movement. Let me give you a common scenario. People know Denver, people know the Rockies and how beautiful it is, right? I love it. I mean, it's right there. Yeah, tattoo guy. It looks great on a brochure, but what do they know about the weather? What do they know about transportation? What do they know if they're going to Yellowstone Park, that the park is closed to through traffic from November till March? They don't know all this stuff unless they call and do their research. But if you don't know the questions to ask, what good's it going to do? Seasonal closures of certain spaces, local rules. Weather seems to be a big theme in this, if you will. I just noticed that. Vendor availability. Hey, is everybody here all season, or are they taking off and heading to Maui for a couple weeks? They need to know all these kind of things. So a DMC really adds value by knowing who actually delivers, the quality that they give, what works seasonally, what venues can handle what size groups, and what theme and what ideas and creativity you can bring to that venue. Hey, some venues have rules, and they don't want to do certain things because, hey, that's what the ownership says. So we need to be aware of that before we go paint the picture to the client. They're like, we can do this, when really we can do this. It depends. We prevent overbooking, unrealistic schedules, and I think most importantly, because being a vendor first and foremost myself, poor mismatches. That's kind of important. That's why we vet our vendors. We're especially helpful for incentive trips. Luxury incentives are very important because they want the best of the best. Our job's to know the best of the best. Multi-day programs, first-time destinations, and mountain and resorts. So, any questions so far? Because next I'm going to go into why you may not need a DMC. What questions can I answer, please? Anyway, yes.
So DMC, you've mentioned a couple of times, like working with an event planner. Do you find yourself working, is that event planner a third party, or is it an internal event planner within the company itself?
Yes. Usually internal.
Okay.
Usually internal. Because usually internal. Yeah, I had to think about that, go through some clients in my head. Usually internal. Great question. We become their secondary event planner. We're their, again, we're a meeting planner for meeting planners. Yeah, I would say usually internal. Event planners seem to come more along the lines. I own a separate business, way different from this, where we do bar and bat mitzvahs, b'nai mitzvahs, if you will, and we do event planning for those too. We're Denver and the Rocky Mountain region's only dedicated simcha planner, mitzvah planner, if you will. So that's more along the lines of, or you got wedding planners, right? All these folks. That's usually it goes, but usually a client will have an event planning team. Sometimes it'll be event plan. Sometimes it will be the assistant to the president. Joshua, I'm sure you get a lot of that. It's not always HR and it's not always the planning team. Sometimes it's that other person that doesn't understand, which is great because we can come in and fill those voids for them. That answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Sure. Anything else? Yana, you talk too much. Stop. Just kidding. Uh, all right. Um, when may you not need a DMC? When do we not? When are we not useful? Never. All right. Next. No, just kidding. Um, but some simple programs. If it's one hotel, it's a smaller meeting. If you know the venue and you know the area you're going to, you don't need off sites. You don't need transportation. You don't need activities. Yeah, the hotel can sometimes do a great job at doing that all alone. So there are times when DMC is not necessary. Hotel teams can handle a basic meeting flow, on-site catering, and typically audiovisual coordination. A lot of the larger hotels on the AV side will have a contract with an AV company, and they will handle all the technology needs for the client. So it's important to say DMCs are not always required. Value increases with complexity, distance, number of vendors, and number of guests, and then of course guest movements. So, yeah, we're getting close here. Good deal. Why the Rockies are different? Weather. That's one. Weather, the terrain, elevation. How many times have you guys said when you got them out in the field, drink that water? Yeah, hydration's a thing. Yeah, because altitude sickness sucks. Limited road access. I work with the venue up in Aspen that I absolutely love, and you have two choices to get up to the top. To do, there's a gorgeous venue up at the top attached to the Little Nell. You can take the lift, which is 10 minutes, or you can drive this back road, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how daring you are. That you're not going to make in the winter. So yeah, but it's our job to figure out how to make that stuff happen. Small vendor pools, as I said, look, you're going to Jackson Hole, Big Sky. There's not a ton of resources up there. So we have to coordinate how to make stuff happen between here and there, the larger cities, if you will. Seasonal closures, permit restrictions. I'm so excited to do some team building in Yellowstone. That's always been my dream, always. But National Park Service rules that. I want to do all I want, but they're going to tell me what I can and can't do. Wildlife and environmental facts. Yeah, we've got bears, we've got elk, we've got wolves, we got all the big guys. We got these mountain lions. Haven't had a run in. They say that you have one run in with the mountain lion. That's it. And one of you is not going to walk out. So, long transportation times, again, examples, Yellowstone, Jackson Hole, Aspen, Big Sky, Park City. Seems like there's a mountain attached to every one of these. It changes things. So again, knowing what roads close, when they do, when a storm's going to hit, having that taste and flavor of the Rockies, if you will. Which venues can scale? What backup options exist? Because, if the client's here, we don't just leave you in your hotel room. We have to have something on backup to do with that client. Summer doesn't last, but 3 months. So there you go. My father always used to say there's 2 seasons in Yellowstone, 4th of July and winter. And he's kind of right. We have had a snowball fight like July 5th, which was awesome after a whiteout. Love it. So very good. Oh, we're getting close. Common misconceptions about DMCs. We're expensive. Maybe that's not a misconception. That we just mark up vendors, that hotels can do everything, that we only do transportation, and they're only for big programs. I'm going to come back and say this. We're here to manage risks, to protect the planner. We're going to make the planner shine. To save time, to help prevent mistakes or the unforeseen. Consistency, and then we also streamline communication between all the parties involved that need to make a successful meeting or program or incentive happen. Tips for successful Rocky Mountain programs, right? Build in buffer time. Plan for the weather. Yes, most definitely. Don't overpack schedules. We're in what's your company name, Jen? Forgive me. Colorado.
Wilderness Rides and Guides or Colorado Wilderness Corporate and Teams.
Awesome. See, now you got a plug. Um, Perfect. There you go. Don't overpack the schedules because look outside. Yeah, we got a lot of beauty to immerse our clients in. No questions. Balance meetings and experiences. When people come here, they don't come with a mindset that they're going to be in meetings for 12 hours a day and then go to bed. People come here to experience this area. It's without a doubt. I've been doing it since I was a little kid. I'll just stand out, sit at my house and stare outside at the mountains all the time, just because I'm like, wow, I made it. Unfortunately, my father passed 4 years ago, so he didn't get the chance to see where I finally ended up, but he would be a proud dad. Think and flow, not just events. That's important. Again, always have plan B. Don't underestimate travel time. Nah, it'll change. Yeah, there's only one highway in Denver, you know? Yeah. How to use a DMC effectively. Bring them in early, share your goals. And when I say bring them in, a planner should bring a DMC in the minute they decide on this, on whichever part of the Rockies they're going to. Transparency is very important. A planner needs to share his or her or their goals to make sure that everything happens that they want to envision. Be clear and on scope. Scope of work for a DMC is very important to lay out, what all we will do, and important, what we won't do, right? Listen to your planners. Very important. I'm a talker, clearly. But I'm also a great listener. When my wife's angry with me, yeah, that happens, right? And she's got something on her mind. Girls, you're going to be impressed. I will always say to her, do you want to vent or do you want me to give you feedback? So usually I get the feedback thing, which is good. Anyway, and so important, communicate often with both parties, all the parties involved. You guys have been in this position before, I could tell you, where a planner or a DMC has hired you and you don't hear from them for months, and suddenly a week of, they're like, hey, we're excited. How's team building coming along? Like, well, where'd you go? And that's the thing. So I believe with our philosophy, one program at a time, we know it's we stay in communication, because being from the vendor side, I know what I want to happen to me. So I would say, folks, that's about it. What other questions can I answer for you, please?
I have one.
Yes, yeah.
You mentioned it earlier. Where do you get most of your clients from? Do you usually have hotel referrals, or is there any other way?
Hotel referrals are very important. Those relationships. That's why Connor's out dropping stuff off now, goodies, right? It depends. Luxury incentives. There's organizations out there that really focus on incentives, and we're partnering with them to do that. It depends on where you're at too. If you're in a bigger city, that makes it easier. If you're working with international, international clients rely more heavy upon organizations that they trust in their own region to partner with somebody over here, if you will, if that makes sense. Does that answer your question? Okay. Joshua, do you have a voice? Talk to me, man. What you got?
No, you're doing a great job. It's nice just listening sometimes.
Excellent. Yeah, I don't do that. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, my job's to talk during this one. Good.
You have the hot mic, so you gotta roll and smile and have fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, good. You guys you already have my contact information from the email. You ever have any questions? You need something? My cell phone's on here. Call. I'm going to help you. I want to see. I've always believed in the phrase community over competition. Because, oh God, this is cheesy. Josh, I know you've used this one time or another. Team together, everyone achieves more. It's true. It's true. We will all do better and function better if we work together. And and help our planners succeed what they want to see at their meetings, their conferences, their events, or their incentives. So yeah. Excellent. Anyway, reach out anytime. I appreciate everybody taking the time out today. Thank you so much. We're going to have another one coming up in, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, as soon as schedule allows, and dive a little deeper. So, this is a 101. Let's find out what else we can really do. So thank you guys and appreciate you.
Hey, thanks so much, Scott.
No.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank
Take care, guys. Most definitely. Yeah, we'll get that coffee soon, brother.